understanding, reaching customers, which are in the hinterlands in Bharat, and that is a fundamentally different market than what traditionally digital businesses have addressed. We've got a great panel here today. Could I invite all of you to join, please? I'll do a very quick introduction, and then we'll open it up to the panel. Pioneer in email and linguistic technologies. He runs a very large, full-fledged email server, which is a global first, the first linguistic end-to-end email server where, I'll request Ajay to talk more about it later, is languages. So not just the content, but the address itself is, some of you are probably aware of the new .bharat domain names. He's got the only technology in the world which can actually run those. Let me kick it off. To kick it off, I'll just request everyone here to just give some opening remarks. A couple of minutes each. Please share, your thoughts on the topic, building products for Bharat.
Thanks a lot, Subinder. I think everybody here in the panel agrees that we are at an inflection point, right? This is one of the greatest moments in the history of the world, and we know what is driving it. It's primarily technological disruption or evolution or whatever you choose to call it. And we are at a special place in India right now because we've seen the first phase of it, which is primarily the initial adoption of internet in this country. And it's opened up new opportunities without which we'll not be meeting here. But the opportunity, when we were speaking before the panel, is what lies ahead, right? So in a lot of ways, I think the estimate is we have about 300 million internet users in India. The actual number of active internet users, because 300 million includes people who are going to check their exam results once in a year online, or maybe once in a semester online, people who are doing things for their sons, daughters, or relatives. But the actual active internet users is 150 million, right? And there is huge opportunity for the technology ecosystem to further accelerate it. And the further acceleration is going to come from three areas, right? One is rural, how the next rural population is going to adopt the internet. And I think one thing that excites us at Akamai there is speech and associated technologies, because today you cannot use internet unless you know English and unless you know written English or some written form of language, because your input medium is primarily written or typed. But with speech technology coming in, artificial intelligence coming in, you can literally translate things on the go. You can interact with a machine by speech, and that's going to open up tremendous opportunities. The second opportunity is mobile, because less than half of the internet population is accessing the internet over mobile, whereas the number of active mobile users are billions, so there is a huge opportunity there. A third aspect is local. People don't want to necessarily read national news or watch national movies. They want to go local. They want to know things within their town or their village, and there is tremendous opportunity to localize the content that is there, not just from a language perspective, but also from a contextual or a area perspective of what local dictates. So very, very excited by the opportunities ahead.
Go ahead, Ajay.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, Subinder, for the introduction. Basically, if you see in India, and then we see world, India only 10.35% as per the government data is English speaking and reading. So 89% is deprived from the actual internet power, because everything is in English and they don't know English. So actually we have to yet to see the growth, we have to yet to see the real empowering of the whole country. Digital India is also not possible if this linguistic space does not take place. And we started doing some work on that, and this is where we are. We launched 1 week before only data mail as in linguistic email, which is Subinder told, words first linguistic technology. We call it EAI. As our topic is today, the opportunities are enormous. So you can imagine 11% in English, 89% is left over. So you have opportunities for all of us. Everybody can see that. The moment you start looking at it, you will have opportunities which are untapped, which are just lying as a low-hanging fruit. Challenges, of course, there are. There are a lot of challenges. So you can have that linguistic space, but to reaching there, marketing there, empowering these people, making their habit going. 11% are now in habit. We have to build those habits, make them consume these things which we are building. I think these are our challenges, along with the side of the government to start promoting that, start supporting that. All the sites do not support to have an Hindi ID as an input. So IRCTC booking you cannot do with a Hindi ID, for example. So all those challenges will come, which we need to also overcome with time. I think more we will talk later, but the opportunities and challenges go hand in hand. But opportunities are very, very large, and it is not just India, globally. I will end by saying 11% population in India speak English, and globally it is 13%. So this is the data available on Wiki and some government sites. So you have the whole world as an opportunity in a non-English space. If you are looking something, if we are all looking something, there is an exciting space to work in. Thank you.
Hi, that are going to shape up the language technology space and thereby also the consumer space in this country. But before I do that, let me give you a small anecdote. Ajay talked about some 11 point something % of the people who understand English and the rest don't. So, a few months back, we sent a small team from our company to a village about 100 kilometers away from Gurgaon to see how many people are using mobile phones in Hindi, okay, which is the language of Haryana. Okay. And our team was surprised, and so were we, that despite the phones having Hindi available on them, a small fraction, okay, maybe a smaller percentage, I don't have the exact percentage, okay, of people were using them in Hindi and rest of them in English. So we asked them why. They said, "साहब वो हिंदी में यूज करना तो बड़ा मुश्किल है, इसलिए हम अंग्रेजी में ही किसी तरह से काम चला लेते हैं." So that brings me to the first key technology intervention that is required, or innovation, okay, and that is a smartphone, okay, which is easy to use, affordable, okay, good quality, and language enabled. Okay, why in this country still feature phones sell much? There are much more feature phones selling than smartphones, and if we have to really make Digital India happen or digital enablement happen, okay, people will have to use smartphones. Okay, now that's the first key technology. What I call Eagle smartphones, easy to use, affordable, good quality, and language enabled. Okay. Second key technology intervention that will be required is that once people have these smartphones, and more people will have these smartphones with them, then they would need a lot of content. The content has to be available in their language, okay, and that content needs to be, again, there is huge amount of content available in English, so you'll need technologies to localize that content and make them available in Indian languages, and that Indian language content once again needs to be high quality, okay, affordable, scalable. Technologies will be required, localization technologies will be required to localize your apps, website, enterprise applications, and so on and so forth. And those technologies we'll talk about a little later, will make a huge amount of content available, besides creating new content. Some of the technologies that will be used to create and convert these content into Indian languages will be technologies such as machine translation, voice technology, sentiment analysis, and so on, okay, which will be required, and that's the third level of technology that I'm talking about. And the fourth level of technology is where, as of today, the user interface on the mobile is changing, okay, and it's becoming more of chat than the traditional user interface. And when we speak to some of these chat service providers, okay, they tell us that 60% of the chats are originating in local languages. Okay, and there is no technology available to handle those chats. So that's currently being handled through human agents. Okay, so key technology intervention, which is, looking us in the face, is if somebody can create chatbots which can interact with users in local languages, then you get to address 60% of the space as of today, which is even going to increase.
Hello, thank you for giving me the. I am working with the TDIL program, and as it stands for Technology Development for Indian Languages. And this program is mainly concerned about building technologies, high-end technologies, and the standards. Now, the role of the government is usually in these terms only, like laying foundation stones, standards, and technologies which are capital intensive to build. And third is creating demand. Like the policies that you have seen, the Digital India, which has got 9 pillars, and it has got various focus points. One of them is you can say e-services. All the government services are to be given in the local language. That is the ultimate target. Now these kind of initiatives, they create demand. And demand, since it's a pan-India activity, it is very difficult for a single agency, like we have got a CDAC is there, or a few private agencies, the Process 9 is there, and many more are there. But they cannot solve all the problems because it's a huge country. There are so many state governments, so many departments are there. So we are looking forward to the startups who can come forward and take our technologies. We can give our technologies at an easy terms. Like we have got success story in the domain of the mobiles. We have given our TTS and Indian language SMS reader to the Indus OS, which have given it in turn to the Micromax, and these technologies are coming in these mobile phones. So these people, Indus OS people, they came to us directly, and they repeatedly kept coming and saying, we want your technology, we want your technology. We put them across to IIT Chennai professor, and they talked, and it came out. So what our expectation is that we want bandwidth, and only startups can provide it, and we can facilitate these things at a very low and easy cost. Rest we will talk as we follow on. Thank you.
Thank you. I think the opportunity is pretty clear to everybody in this room, but just to give you a small perspective, there are more people on the internet in this country than the entire population of the US. So that's a very large thing to say because, let's not talk about China. I think China is a very different beast and probably 10 years ahead. But as you compare us with another developed nation as America, and you just think about it, that even though there are 150 active internet users, we still have 1 billion more to go who can become active, and that's a very large opportunity. At NowFloats, what we simply do is we help local small businesses come online in a very simple manner, and we drive online consumers to the local business. And that's what we do. We are 4 years old, and we've enabled 250,000 businesses. About 35% of all Indian websites run on our platform. So we have a very vantageous point in which we are sitting. We see a lot of data, we see a lot of, and our websites are by design updatable websites. So we have a patent on how to prompt a local business guy, which we are all talking about. How do you prompt a guy who probably doesn't understand English? Or if he does, he doesn't understand content kya hota hai. And if he does understand content, he's got punctuation, grammar issues. How does he update his site in an automatic way, which then attracts local consumers? So we built that platform over the last 4 years. Even though we have some success, what we additionally do is I think Rakesh said that he sent his team to a village near Gurgaon. We've almost made a business out of that, by the way. So we have a 7-member team called Digital Desh inside NowFloats, which only travels across country. Many people want that job, by the way. I pay for that travel. They just travel across the country all the time, and we release reports every 3 months. And the reports are freely available. They're not costed. They're available at desh.digital website. And we've got a very insider's view of what's happening in the country. So we, in fact, have started calling this initiative the anti-survey. India is also a little status conscious kind of a country. You walk up to someone in a new town and you ask him 10 questions. You will realize that in 6 months, you will only get politically correct answers. You know, Facebook करते हो हाँ, WhatsApp करते हो रोज करता हूँ जी, कितने ग्रुप हैं 20, वो 20 में से 18 आज तक देखे नहीं उसने. So you know you have to. So what we do now is we call it the anti-survey. We sit down with businesses in very rural areas. We sit down with businesses, consumers in Pushkar, Ajmer, the Coimbatore of course is a big place, but smaller places, really small tiny places, Kolhapurs of the world. We sit down with consumers, we sit down with businesses, and we understand need kya hai. What is the need? Are people searching on Google locally? If they are, what is the language? If it's on the mobile, then is it mobile or is it a PC, and so on and so forth. So we have a lot of insights we've developed over the years, and we strongly believe this is a huge mega opportunity. The important thing, addition to language, as my last comment I would like to make is, India is also a very challenging place. Unlike all the other countries that we all probably are exposed to. I mean, US, you can make an app and everybody's using it overnight. You can probably do the same in China also. India mein nahi hota. You can't sit down in a small office in Bangalore and create an app and the whole country has just gone viral on it. It's quite difficult. We have a very high distribution issues. We have a very high, we are different people. We are almost 30 countries in one country. And not just language, our behaviors are different. To sell to a Punjabi guy versus selling to a Tamil guy changes drastically. Very drastically. The medium changes, the distribution changes, everything changes. So while this is a huge opportunity, it's 30 small opportunities. So it's like $100 billion divided by 30. And that's the opportunity we have. But people on this panel are enablers, right? We are all enablers. But if you really want to build a large business, you'll have to build one for Tamil Nadu and one for Punjab. And then only you'll be able to build this $1 billion businesses in India. That's the opening thought.
Thank you, Jas. So we've heard very global statements so far, right? When we understand there's a huge opportunity there. But I think what we need to do is really drill down and make it very tangible, very specific, right? So one thing I'll request, and maybe Jas, you could address this, is talk about a specific example, right? Something which you think we can do today. You have knowledge of what local entrepreneurs are doing, right, in remote parts of the country. How can we enable them much more and help them succeed, scale up that opportunity, and build a business that way? So what is the opportunity for entrepreneurs in helping other entrepreneurs?
Sure. So from the digital nation, many examples, but I'll pick one from a motivational perspective and one from an answer perspective.
Maybe just one.
Just one, okay. Yeah, so we'll probably go to, so we met this gentleman called Pradeep, 30 years of age, Hathi Pole Market in Udaipur. Now he's a panwala, classic panwala, not a customer of NowFloats. I don't think panwalas are a customer, so they will be one day, but not today. And you walk to his shop, it is half the size of this panel. The shop is as big as half the size of this dais. And he has a PC there, and he's using the latest smartphone. And we started talking, it took 2 days to really understand him. And he finally says, कि ये पान तो मैं से ही बेचता हूँ, मैं तो actually नए फोन जो आते हैं, वो खरीद के लोगों को बेचता हूँ. कहाँ से? OLX से. कितने फोन खरीदे? 88. So in 1 year he has bought 88 phones, and he has used all of them. He's a very smart guy. All the 88 phones he has used himself. He uses them for a month. iPhone 7s अभी आया, जैसे आया है, he will buy it because he's so passionate about it. वो use करेगा 1 महीने के लिए, 10 दिन के लिए, then he'll sell it back to OLX, or he'll jugaad the fact that he has to buy it first. So he's 2 months ahead of the curve in, either buying it on, reserving a phone on Flipkart and then getting the first one, right? He's very ahead of the curve. And then he almost takes a premium by giving it to some. Now a guy like that, in Udaipur, with a, he's done till 8th class, right? His English be tutti frutti. Now how do we enable him? There's so many things you can do. Now this guy A has not seen an ad of Quicker, OLX, Google. It's natural to him. He's sitting in his shop, he's searching, he finds something, he says the word phone, gets it on Google, reaches OLX and starts doing it. So I think the first gap is, not even literacy, it's awareness. We are very, very lacking in making our rural Bharat entrepreneurs aware. They don't even aware that technology hai. Once they get the awareness, this is an amazing country. Awareness is a very amazing first step. What we call about digital literacy, nobody is going to an NIIT in Udaipur to learn how to use a PC and Excel. वो दिन खत्म हो गए, right? All they need to know is ये कर सकते हैं. And we've seen this in your lead report. Awareness is the first part. Second is, how do you enable them from from an ability to, let's say, ease their business? So now let's go into lightweight CRM. Let's go to a lightweight ERP. Not the SAP. I'm talking about photo khichi, camp find ki baat kar rahe the hum. Photo khicha, it's gone into his ERP. He knows iski photo khichi, that's all he ever needs to know. And then he puts that I have 10 of these. And that's all he needs to do inventory management. He doesn't have to, go stock taking. And it's a very difficult thing. India is a very, with all due respect, a lazy place as well. With all due respect. So enablement is multifold. So there's nobody who's built a localized phone-based CRM or ERP. None of them. All of you can just make it one today, and I guarantee you'll go IPO in 5 years. But we've not built it. Nobody's built a phone-based Punjabi ERP. Show it to me now, and I'll show you there are a billion people willing to take it. Right? Right. So those are some of the things which I would just keep it like that.
So let me switch to Rakesh and Ajay here. These are the two technology enablers here. For a local entrepreneur, right? What kind of technologies that you're bringing or you think are coming in? How do we make more of those guys more successful?
So let me, step back a little. A very inspiring story of Pradeep. Okay. So the first question that comes to my mind is, how do we create, 100 or 1,000 or million Pradeeps around here? Okay. And I'm tempted to ask that question because we have somebody from government sitting over here. There is this NDLM, National Digital Literacy Mission. Okay. Now that's a huge program of government. Some 6 crore people need to be made digitally literate. Okay. But when I go through that, I find that this program actually teaches how to use PCs, how to use a computer. Okay, and it teaches that largely in English. Okay, so I think there is a major change required over there. The NDLM or digital literacy now needs to be delivered on smartphones. Now those are the things which that people just is talking about. Smartphone is what is empowering people. That's what is making the big difference. Okay, so let's bring digital literacy on mobile phones and in the language of those people, so that they can very quickly become digital or mobile savvy, are able to access internet tomorrow. And when they're ready to do that, then we'll have technology like TCDN technology, which I'll talk about a little later, which will actually be able to deliver localized content, information, and knowledge, using which they can really access the markets across the country or across the globe.
So Ajay, you're building the plumbing for digital India, I would say, right? So you want to address that question?
So actually, we all saw James Bond advertising for Pan Bahar. I think we all saw that, and it was fun. And we are in Jaipur, my company is in Jaipur, and I also saw that ad in Dainik Bhaskar newspaper, front page, and the entire ad is in Hindi, which excites everyone. We are a Hindi state, and I see an email address in English in the same newspaper, and the same ad. The domain name is also English. So the whole purpose for a Hindi population got defeated. And that is exactly, even I am worried about one part, what Sanjay, what this Rakesh and Jess is saying, because for Android phone, you need an English ID first to even install an app. We have to solve that problem. How do you do that? How does somebody subscribe to an English email ID if you don't know? The basic problem have to be solved. We have challenges to solve that. Here, what we are trying is that Government of India has enabled .bharat domain. I don't know how many of you know. So you can actually block, it's free from Government of India to block, and you can register your domain names. But the email ID is not available, so which we have started from 18th. It is available for free for everyone, which the idea is to talk to Google, probably talk to the phone manufacturers and enable the accounts so that somebody can have an ID in 8 languages right now: Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Gujarati, Marathi, Punjabi, Bengali, and Urdu. These languages are available as of now. Challenge is how to have the first, how do you install an app? You need an English Gmail ID first. We need to also break that somewhere. On iOS, this is not a problem, but on this is a problem. On iOS, another problem. You can't configure an email account on the mail app. It's not enabled. So we had to build our own app and upgrade that iPhone with a Hindi capability. You can't even configure a Hindi ID on a mail app. There are a lot of challenges we need to solve, but there is a need. And I will end with my story. And when we launched on a random call, bola, uncle, some child may be there, my mother wants to talk to you. कोई जॉब वॉब की बात होगी तो मैंने कहा एचआर से बात कर लो, बोले नहीं नहीं अभी आपसे ही बात करनी है. Her daughter is in US and she just called me to say that now I can send an email. And her son helped him to get an email ID. Because I was right now dependent on my son. This is the kind of respect and empowering we can bring in the people's life which are dependent on others. This is huge. This is the motivation more than anything else. Gives, I think probably all of us will agree to empower people, bring in the self-respect, bringing that non-dependency in each other's life. This is the power which we can bring if we work on a linguistic space and empower people in day-to-day life.
Great. Question to the audience. How many of you here are building businesses, ventures, which are trying to address the deep Indian market? Great. What questions do you have for the panel? Karthik, let me turn this to you. What do you think are the untapped opportunities today? We have a question. Let's take that first.
Sir, I'm Nandini Das Kamath of YummyKitchens.in, addressing the solution for home-cooked food online from Kochi. Whenever I go for a marketing pitch, the question I'm asked is about the scalability of my venture. Scalability with regards to the global market maybe. But I don't, I build up my product for my country. It need not necessarily be globally marketable. But there is a sort of a, some sort of an inhibition when I try to market it to or I pitch it for somebody who can venture. Why is it like that?
I think the panel is made for something else, but I can answer you, I answer it all the time. So there are two kind of businesses. One is Dhanda business, one is Panga business. Panga business is loved by VCs. They want to see that who is taking Panga with the incumbent, who is taking risk, who can destroy the existing business model. A Dhanda business is who will run 10% margin and grow, will not die, survive for life. VC is not invested in it because there are no returns. So you need to disheartened with that. This scalability is the question which people want to go global, want to market and want to have something which they want to disrupt globally. There are two different channels. So if a lot of people are doing Dhanda business, which is doing great, and there are people who will invest in that, you have to just find the right person. That's all. Does it answer you?
Okay. There's a question here. You're audible.
We can hear you.
How do you see the impact of India staff in disrupting
Superb. So this is the greatest you are talking about OpenStack, right? So this is huge opportunity for every developer to build an application using the India stack. So you have all open APIs. You have to just subscribe, get an API, and build your UPI payment gateway, which we all heard in the newspapers, or Aadhaar card authentication, or so many more things, passport authentication. We can do a lot more. So there is a authentication service which is becoming, authorization service which is becoming in handy. You need not to use necessarily Gmail all the time to authenticate an email ID. You have other means now. And you have UPI payment gateway available openly to you. You need not to go and have a payment gateway of your own. So there are so many things, even for a startup. I think for a startup, this is the most exciting time. This is not the panel for that, but you have so many opportunities at the lowest possible cost to build your prototype and make it ready and get to the market.
Hi, my name is Pradeep. I'm not the Pradeep that you met in Jaipur. One of the problems with consumers of digital content in India is the poor infrastructure that is available in our country. There are two people who are big players. One is Akamai, which is in the business of content delivery, and the other is the ministry, which is the enabler. Let's assume that nobody is sitting here and you are given the choice of making a wish to the ministry. What kind of a request would you make? And where does the responsibility lie between the two of you? One is a private industry and the other, which is government, in actually solving this problem. Because the issue of building applications which consumers are going to love is going to be solved only when this problem is solved, not before this. We may do whatever we want, but the consumers are still going to be in the cities, not in the villages. Until you solve that, it's not going to reach the levels that we want to reach.
Just to clarify, is this Akamai making a wish to the ministry or? Okay. That's
You have a golden opportunity.
No, I think, so just to give context for people who may not know Akamai, so Akamai is a content delivery network. So what we try to do is we try to make websites much faster than what it is normally without Akamai. Say, for example, let's say you are trying to book a ticket through IRCTC. You know how painful it is to book a ticket. You need to reload it multiple times and book it. Whereas you compare the experience with Make My Trip or Clear Trip, the transaction just goes through. So that's what we do. So for us, the big opportunity or the wish list from the ministry is the basic infrastructure being in place, right? So today, you go to a smaller town or a city, you are talking about a 2G network being there, and you can only do so much on 2G. Reliance is trying to change that with 4G, but their initial results are debatable of how much they are going to change it. So there is a need for a basic infrastructure to be in place for technologies like Akamai to work. And the government is investing partially on it by laying fiber optics, cables, setting up specific CSCs or computer service centers at specific kendras and things like that. But that's not enough, right? That's not enough to spur the growth that is needed. So the government has to out-invest the private sector in terms of enabling the basic infrastructure, whether it's mobile networks, Wi-Fi networks, the basic landline networks that is needed to spur it. They are laying cables, but they are not kind of focused on endpoints that will really help India scale. So that will be my wish to the government.
Yeah, hi, my name is Paramdeep Singh. Okay, so we are in a space of B2B domain. So we have a product made for FMCG companies in India, and we enable their sales force to be in touch with the company management in real time and data collection happening in real time. So I think Mr. Gulati can relate because there are products available like that. So here I am not sure that is it going to be very much like building products for Bharat, but we do get a lot of calls on our support center live. So we see that there are a lot of Bengalis, Punjabis who are employed with the companies pan-India for their geography, distribution, everything. So is there something, what I'm saying is that whenever we go for the training of those people, so very first time they see that they are very much, not aware of Android at all. So we have to give them some orientation like that. So on a larger scale, there's something, an idea we have, they can we collaborate somehow with the government. Let's say there are so many MSME centers are there. Is there something which government or has anybody come across an association like maybe Mr. Gulati or Dr. Ajay, that there's a platform where we engage when we train them, make them more digital aware. That's a part of awareness. So something is there in the panel's mind where we as a startups can leverage and make them more, aware of and then bridge this gap, which is a divide between the digital India and normal. So.
Sir,
there are two programs. Like one I am aware is that run by CDAC, which is PACE centers are set up across the India, where this ICT related training and all this, what you are talking about, those gaps are bridged. Another is NDLM, which now is being given in Indian languages also, and their content is being translated into all the 22 Indian languages. So these two opportunities you can use to, you can look at their websites and you can see how you can engage with them.
I have a request. Can we keep the questions to the within the topic here, which is building products for Bharat? Because we have a very broad area as it is, right? And want to get in. Go ahead, please.
We can hear you.
Yeah. So I'm currently building a fintech IoT product for the Indian market, and 40%, or would it go digital all the way towards close to 100% in the coming future? So when we're building a product, we're going to put that into the architecture of the product, whether we are going to deal with physical currency in the future, or is it all going to be trending towards digital?
If I get it correct, I think we will have all the percentage numbers different. But one thing is for sure, it is going to grow. We all will agree on that. Right. Somebody might say 80, 30, 40, 50, but whatever percentage we say is enough for you. Any number. Okay. Even if it becomes 5 to 10, it is great. Okay. Every percent in India is huge opportunity for everyone. 1% alone. So because we are a large population. So large market is available to us. And it is obviously growing. The new payment banks are going to start by December. So they are going to start with new business models. UPI is going to change the way in next 3 months. Everybody, all the transactions are going to, lot of transactions are going to be there. NPCI, we are working with them. NPCI is working very closely and building a large infrastructure to manage 20 times more transactions than what they are doing today. This is the infrastructure getting built today. So I think people are getting ready, people are getting prepared, and there is an opportunity there.
Let me add to that. We have a couple of customers in fintech space who are, you can reach out to a larger population, and our government is also talking about Jan Dhan and crores of bank accounts being opened. Now, how do you reach out to these people? Okay. So a couple of companies like Bajaj Finserv, lending card, they're working with us to localize all their services, all their content, so that they can attract customers from across the country in whatever language that they speak.
There's a last on the back. Yes, please.
Yeah. As sir said, India is a combination of 30 countries. I have been experiencing this. I have traveled almost to all the 30 states in the past 5 months. And a person in Delhi is completely opposite to that in Chennai. And the one in Mizoram is different than in Gujarat. We have been in...
You incubate the incubator. You're an entrepreneur, right? Don't wait for the government. Okay? That's why entrepreneurs always leapfrog the government. Like Vijay ji said, he took the example of that Indus OS was built after they had standardized it. He's looking for entrepreneurs like that. आप बनाइए, advice दे रहा हूँ सिर्फ. 20 entrepreneur लेके आइए, एक room में बिठाइए उनको, solve India problems, solve Bharat problems, do it yourself, let them use your ID, and talk to me in 1 year.
Okay. Last question, please.
I think this is a product for me. How can we make the digital life not just available in terms of access, but available in terms of lifestyle? Is my question.
Email is one of
Bharat, and it's for lifestyle. The largest number of Facebook users or WhatsApp users and Hike users, they're actually in Bharat. Okay, then in the tier 1 cities. Okay, and it is being used very heavily. I mean, another part of the story that I started with, all these people that we interviewed in a small village, they actually all use WhatsApp. Okay, large number of them, they use Facebook. I don't know whether they use it in toilets because they may not have toilets.
Can I share the last opportunity? We launched it on 18th, and on 19th it was published all over. Some of them must have read it, and it reached up to Russia. And I got a random call from Russian number, and they were there yesterday with us to sign the JV for the language space there. I'm just sharing this opportunity. If you are doing something innovative, then world is an opportunity, not just India. Bharat is going to offer you that opportunity to build something in a linguistic space. We have markets everywhere. It's just a technology building. Hindi is one technology, language you are building. You can build Russian, Canadian, Arabic, whatever language you want to build. The opportunities are enormous.
So we'll end with that note. The opportunities are enormous. I think the key message here is there's fabulous new technologies, enabling platforms, right? Techniques which are available for you to address the Bharat opportunity. It does not take away the fundamentals. You still have to find the customer. You still have to go address the need. You still have to establish product market fit. All those things you still have to do. But there are newer, better frameworks, technologies, and bigger opportunities available because of the work done by some of the folks in the panel as well as others. Right? We'll end with that. I'll request the panel members to be available outside in case you have any sideline questions. Go ahead.
If you permit me, I want to make some suggestions.
Okay.
We have taken all the 22 constitutionally recognized Indian languages into Unicode. Without that, ICT could not happen. Interoperability has been achieved because of that. We have worked with CDAC and we have developed fonts and keyboard drivers. And we have made one Sakal Bharati font which has got glyphs for all 22 Indian languages in a single font, and it is in open source. So you can download it, you can change the glyphs, or you want to modify it the way you want it. So you can have your creativity in terms of fonts. Then we have also worked and made available our high-end technologies like OCR, machine translation, and TTS. These technologies are all available on our portal, TDIL.DC.in. If you visit that portal, there is a section, Technology Handshake, and you can show your interest on that portal, and we can engage with you, and I can only assure you that like we have done in the case of TTS, which we have given to Micromax on very easy terms, like it is free for 5 years. So we can have those kind of agreements with you. It is you. See, if any technology that is developed, if machine translation is there, we have invested around 10 crore rupees. So now you are getting it free for a number of years. You can exploit its potential. So another thing that is required is that we need Amazon kind of thing for the rural India. A lot of handicrafts and local things are being manufactured by the villagers, and we need to have a marketplace where they can take their produce. Then women, mostly in the villages or in the urban centers, women mostly, if they are postgraduates or graduates, and they are free usually after 1 p.m., 1 to 6 p.m., they have got a free time. And we can have you can build a big platform where you can take work from across India for the translation work, load it up, people sign it up, and they can take work from there and they are paid. So women can utilize their energies in the free time. Even university students who are doing their post-graduation, in the free time, they can take work from that portal. So translation is a big challenge because all the multinationals that are coming to India, they have to translate their training manuals into Indian languages. So even within India, in the government platform also, you see that when we give e-services, all the services like birth certificate or anything that if you demand in Indian language, in your language, we have to provide it. So a lot of content is to be generated on the government side in Indian languages. And no one person or company can solve it. You have to come forward. And you engage, you go to that portal, show your interest, we can engage, and only we can assure you that whatever we can provide you, it will be on your terms. Then we have, other thing is that as a success story I can share with you, one is that TTS I have already told, that Tamil OCR we have developed, and it is in the Worth Trust in Chennai. They have used this Tamil OCR to create 500 Braille books, like you OCR Hindi book, and output is a Braille output. So even blind, visually handicapped people are able to read Hindi book in the Braille language. So even Bangla OCR, which is being used by CDAC Noida to give service, like all these technologies, they are not 100% correct. So output is 70 or 80%. There is a gap to bridge, 30%, 20%. So that is the service that you are providing. So you can use our tools and you can add those surveys, create that document that is 100% correct and give it to your client and you get the payment.
Vijay, sorry, we're out of time. But I think you can find a lot of information on the TDIL website, right? I'll request everybody to look there for opportunities. I'm sorry, with that, let me thank the panel. We are already over our time. Thank you very much.